Welcome, folks, to Cinema Alley, the show where we talk about your favorite movies and their stories. I am your host, the Gothic Storyteller, and always with me is my co-host to the left, Chris Cup. Chris, how you doing, buddy? Even though we're both facing the opposite direction, I really kind of wish we could switch this through. This is still a
Oh, that's weird. It looks
yeah,
normal for me, like, I'm this way and you're facing me,
yeah. Mine's the
so it
opposite.
looks,
So it looks like we have our backs together. If you
oh,
did it like that, yeah, that's what it looks
so
like on my end. Yeah. So this is definitely a big experiment. We are definitely we're live here on Discord. We got the stage going for the live show. We're breaking it in. Chris, how have you been since our season 1.5, as we call it? It's our in between season. We only did 3 episodes while experimenting and trying new things. What'd you think about that?
I mean, it was a nice little break, I guess, just we had our personal lives kinda got a little busy and, you know, we're finally getting back in the groove, so here we
E-
are.
Exactly. I definitely enjoy. I enjoyed the break, to be honest. Like I keep myself so busy, but also too I definitely miss talking about movies. Even though like on my Twitch thing, I have like 3 to 4 events planned per month with with the podcast stuff. Um, but yeah, today we're covering Minority Report, Chris. Today is Chris's pick. And I think it's a really good pick to start off a new season. Even though this is supposed to be like episode 4 of season 2, that's what the original plans were before we decided to throw everything aside. So this is our new season 1 start, or season 2 start. My bad. I don't even know what fucking season we're on. We're on season 69 for all I know. Um, but with that going, Chris, what I'm going to ask you, what made you want to pick Minority Report? This was your pick for the month, so obviously you're going to take most of the lead when we get to our talking points.
I have always kind of been a big sci-fi guy, so this one kind of felt like the natural choice because it's got a really tight script that we could read. And it still holds up today. It's
Mm-hmm.
really great acting from Tom Cruise and a lot of emotional drama, and it presents really cool, philosophical questions. And I thought it was a good thing to explore in one episode.
I definitely agree in everything. I went on a little bit of a Philip K. Dick binge, which is what this film is based off of, the novella by the same name. I cannot for the life of me remember. It was such a weird title, but it had Keanu Reeves and Woody Harrelson and Iron Man. They were in it, but that one, it was not really like a pre-crime story, but it was definitely a science fiction story set in somewhat the modern day, where it was more or less surveillance. So it was like definitely like the beginning of the talks of having like those CCT cameras and everything constantly watching you, constantly scanning your face. If they were trying to look for an armed person, this new form of technology will help us like just capture them immediately. Because we started reading this stuff in December. I think that's when we definitely
Yeah.
started prepping. So I was already like just peeling back the pages, and they were like really great reads and watches and everything. But we're gonna focus on back to Minority Report, based on the 1956 science fiction novella of the same name by American writer Philip K. Dick. This I try to surmise the general synopsis of, and I'm pretty sure most people can sit there and think of a better synopsis for this, but John Allison, yes, that's his middle name, Anderton is an aging creator and head police commissioner of the pre-crime division who is hunted for murder, believing his new second-in-command, Whitwer, is responsible for the mishap and believes his wife, Lisa, is also working with his second-in-command. Uh, so there's like, I guess, going by the movie we watched, because I did reread the script. Um, the script and the movie are totally two different things, and that's when I realized that the script was written back in 1997. We'll get to that one real quick, but judging by just how the movie was, compared to this, it's like, all right, well, like obviously in the movie, Tom Cruise is not the creator and everything. He's just the head of the division and everything. He's the one that just puts the action and everything into test, and um, it's more or less this role of aging creator is kind of given to Max von Sydow, who plays director Lamar Burgess. Which again, like they give him the title director, but yet he's like the creator of it. But this is supposed to be still like the early, it's the early workings of pre-crime. Um, the
Yeah.
August,
It's still kind of a test.
yes, it very much is, because even in the movie that we'll get into here in a bit, all what they can do is just cover murder, but they do plan to put a precog, which is a mutant with psychic abilities. Which is, at first I thought in some of the shots they were sitting in milk or something. I don't know why Sci-Fi always had that weird thing about milk. It looked like milk, or it was just a very like milky water, where they had
Yeah.
it was something of the
It has
times.
all the nutrients they need to keep them
There you go.
alive and
Yeah,
healthy.
it was that, but we'll get like more into that. That Sidao wanted one in every home, and soon it would detect all the pre-crime of theft, murder, you name it, any other crime, even assault. You could easily have a precog in someone's home, figure it out and everything, and help prevent those people from being wronged and everything. It's trying to set up with the good intentions of wanting to have a safer future, but at the cost that it, in a sense, turns everyone into an enemy, even themselves into their own worst enemy.
The
Um,
road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Exactly. And the script that we got off of Script Labs, which, folks, if you want to sit there and follow a lot of the stories that what we cover here, generally we go through Script Labs. This is not a plug; it's a shameless plug, but it's like we're not being paid to plug these people. But Script Labs, I think, is the best place where you can actually get like you can sometimes get the actual draft for what the finished movie is. Other times you get earlier drafts and everything, and they do have a option where you could actually ask for a request. It's like they'll ask you like what specific draft do you want and everything. I've done it quite a few times because I feel like, oh, I would really love to have the script to this, and I don't know how that magic works. I don't know what those people do. I don't know if they go outside and beat the shit out of a script dealer and they take a scripts and then they upload them. I don't know. I don't know, Chris. But the one that we are reading is the August 15th, 1997 edition. It's a rewrite by Jon Cohen, who does get credit in the final piece and everything for at least this copy that he has written. I don't know if he wrote any of the previous versions or did any revisions. All we know is that he solely wrote this version. But in this one, the name is Paul Anderson, because I think even he knew how freaking hard it is to say Anderton without saying Anderson. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
But in 1999, you had Neo in the Matrix, and he was constantly called Mr. Anderson.
Yeah.
So he probably wanted to change that up a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah, we have Paul Anderson as the director of Pre-Crime, who used to be a homicide detective and yearns to return to the days of being a real cop. Whitwer is his second in command and has a brotherly relationship with Paul until he is put into the director position once Anderson goes on the run for a future murder he supposedly commits. I actually like this script a hell of a lot better than I like the movie, and we'll get into that later on in
Really?
every. Yeah, okay. So for one, it's
What?
pulp. The way how the story is told. Yeah, it's supposed to be a science fiction novella, and this did feel like it. I think that this had some pretty interesting sci-fi for what it was. Especially like the whole like you have the map of the home and you can scan through the walls. They didn't have that in the finished film. I thought that would look cool, especially coming from Spielberg. I thought that would have looked cool. It still would have had that. I guess it would have been zany sci-fi, but with this pulpness of we have this character that I used to be on the side of the law until the law turned on me, but there was a reason for it because of this precog is needing my help, for something else. But there is a bit of the finished film that I think, at least towards when you get towards the end, it has a far better ending. But to me, I still hold on to the screenplay as like, I like this story better. but also too, it was my introduction to it. I've never read the novella whatsoever, so this was my first, before watching the movie, this was my first exposure to Minority Report. And when I was watching the movie, I was like, I can't wait for this. And then I started watching. I was like, where the fuck is that on page whatever? So, I kind of felt a little lied to, and I was like, oh wow, I could definitely see Tom Cruise do this. And we'll get to that later on my thoughts about Tom Cruise. But this is the film that what we're covering. This is what it does. It marries the story of the novella with the Jon Cohen screenplay, with less emphasis on the pulp narrative and relies heavily on the science fiction aspect. I think it's a perfect marriage, regardless. Like, I kind of wished I had what was here, but looking at that and judging from what I've looked up on the novella, I think it was a perfect marriage to begin with. It borrowed from both sources. And to me, I can look at that as like, you know what, that's a win. Because sometimes it's either one or the other, and then sometimes that doesn't work out. So I think that they did very well for what they did. Is this a film I'm going to go back to over and over again? Probably not, and everything. But if I did see the 97 script actually made as it was, oh yeah, I definitely would jump into it. I love me some good pulp.
Yeah.
A few things also too before we get into our talking points. This film was first optioned in 1992 as a sequel to Arnold Schwarzenegger's Total Recall. Yeah. Now, like, what would you think about that? That would definitely have been a totally different story then. They would only borrow what little bit while making a brand new story out of it. Because I don't know if any of Philip K. Dick's books are actually sequels to other books. Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting because I mean I could probably see
Uh huh.
that technology evolving from Total Recall, like memories and implanting memories, and you have mutants on Mars anyways,
Yeah.
so like you probably have mutants on Earth, but like I don't know.
I think if they
I feel
reversed
like
it, I think it'd fit. If they started with Minority Report and then uh, following, because in the novella the main character does not get killed. Him and his wife get sent up to a space colony. So to me, I could have
yeah,
seen it of, well, like, how did he make it to Mars? And I was like, well, at the end of Minority Report, in this version at least, they sent Arnie to a space colony, and somewhere from there they sent him maybe to Mars and everything. And I think it was
yeah.
reversed, but
I
I
mean,
think if you had the right writer, you could do whatever.
I feel like I'm happy that it didn't get optioned as a sequel because like yeah, it would have tried to like insert stuff from Total Recall, and that was a totally different movie with totally different tone and
Yeah.
way more action, crazy '80s action, and like I'm glad it stuck to being its own standalone thing because there was a lot to explore with this theme, and
Yeah.
I just can't see it meshing well with Arnold Schwarzenegger's Total
It's
Recall film.
it's not like trying to write a sequel to like an H.P. Lovecraft story or whatever, where like some of Lovecraft stories feel like they definitely fit in the world, and that maybe like maybe you could see some like what's it called you could probably connect the dots between different events that happen within Arkham and everything compared to something of Philip K. Dick where I felt it's like more like I guess you look at it as Edgar Allan Poe of they've happened but there's no actual linear connection to them. No one, from my knowledge at least, because I've not read any of Philip K. Dick's works. From my knowledge, I've not learned that anything is a sequel to anything of his works.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for those of you that Total Recall is not the name of the actual book by Philip K. Dick. The title of it is "We Can Remember." We can remember it for you wholesale, which that has to be the hardest fucking damn title to ever say. I tried saying this numerous times in my head. We can remember it for you wholesale. There's no comma or
Yeah.
anything. It's weird. Which you mentioned the memory implants. I was like, okay, there we go. And this
Yeah.
came out a year after Minority Report. Minority Report came first. So that was 56. This is 66. So it's like 10 years ahead. So my bad. I did math wrong. Um,
Oh.
but sorry. But we are gonna take the first talking point of the show to you, Chris, and everything. Uh, what did you love about this movie for your first point?
Uh, I love the idea that this is basically the seeding of a utopian society that Lamar Burgess is trying to build with the precogs, and how that can tie into like the dangers of wanting perfection, because you're always like no one wants anything bad to happen to someone else, and like
Mm-hmm.
whenever you try to exert control like that, it ends always like causing the opposite effect. And that's kind of like what people seem to forget in history, I think, and that's kind of what I think uh this movie was trying to make a point of,
Mm-hmm.
is you're trying to create a society without murder, but you're doing it by imprisoning pre-murderers who have technically done nothing wrong. And like there is the minority report that we later find out in the movie that people have an alternate future,
Mm-hmm.
and there could have been a point where they didn't actually commit the murder.
Yeah.
So you're arresting people for like thinking about doing something, or like impulsively doing something, but in the moment they could choose, you know what, I can't do this. And that's one of the like things we could use as a parallel for our own society, and just people like watch out for people like Lamar Burgess who tries to like, look, we can stop this, we can prevent bad things from happening, but like just watch out for their intentions.
And to add in there, it's funny, he's trying to sit there and do better for the world and prevent people from being hurt, and yet the man who created this is the man that has found a loophole and tries to cover up a murder.
Yeah. In his own system that he created,
Yeah.
he can't have it fall apart, so he has to commit murder and fake a murder so the precogs see it, and then commit murder in the exact same way. And
Yeah.
it's just like,
This
you're
is,
creating your system based on a lie.
yeah.
And I mean, some people will see that as like, oh, it's a necessary evil for the perfection of society. And I think people, it's a good like topic to debate, but at the end of the day, like you're still doing something bad, and like something could fall apart if
Yeah.
you're like caught in it, you know? Like you
I
have to
definitely
like
agree.
build something towards something on its own.
Yeah. And it's when when I saw that in the movie, and I was like, okay, so he's meaning to help, but yet he does this whole cover up, and of course the only reason he does this is because he needs technically one precog. He needs the strongest one, which is Agatha, and his whole downfall is just that the drug addict mother that gave away her child wanted her kid back. It's all that she wanted. She got herself straight, which we go on to learn in this story that pretty much these precogs, these mutant abilities that can supposedly foresee the future of events and prevent all these murders, they're babies that were nursed by drug addicts and everything. Like their parents were drug addicts while they had them, and
Yeah,
and,
they
and they suffered some
came
type of
from
brain
a
damage.
home.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, they were raised in a home and they were experimented on, and they could see the murder and like murders of every night, and it's just like a horrible situation.
it is. And even in the script and in the movie, they definitely show the emphasis of like, like do they ever see anything else other than just people dying? And it was like, oh no, it's like they're always constantly seeing someone's death, and it's like, oh, it kind of
Yeah,
sounds like a miserable experience. So it's like, and yet we have these fuckers like floating
but
in
it's
water.
also written off as they weren't born; they were creating in a lab, so they're not really human.
Yeah,
And that's the way they justify it, like just, oh, they're in a little pool here, they're fine, they don't need anything else. But like they're obviously human, but society, they found a way to like trick people even in
yeah.
the program itself to lie to them and to
Yeah.
keep the program going. Like, it's okay, they're not human. They're just let them do their thing and see murder, like, it's
Yeah.
horrible.
Uh, and what were some of the other red flags that you wanted to point out for
Oh,
this?
I was just that was just an extra thing I put in there to, like, in case we, had extra time, but I was just drawing comparisons to, like, real life stuff, like how there are red flag laws, like, in today's society, like, if you see someone you don't like or think someone is, uh, gonna do something dangerous, you could call up the police and say,
Well,
"Hey, I
yeah,
think
yeah.
this guy's gonna do it," and, we just
We're,
had a
we're not
situation,
that we're not that far
uh
in there. We just don't need precogs to just already define.
yeah,
Someone committed a crime, and it's like, all right, well, that person's immediately guilty until proven innocent. Yeah, it's like
yeah,
we
that's
don't
how
need
our
drug addict
society works now
babies.
too,
Yeah, we don't need drug addict babies with psychic abilities. Like
like
we just got Karens doing that shit left and right.
you you have the court of public opinion and people are guilty in someone else's mind, and then it spreads like wildfire. People's
Yeah,
lives are destroyed, even though, like, that could be super wrong. Just it I think people should watch this movie and kinda, like, think, "Oh, maybe accusing someone of doing something before they've done it
you
is
just said the
not the way to
magic word.
go." Mm,
You said think. Oh my
huh.
god. They should
What?
put you in
What's critical
precog jail
thinking?
or whatever it is.
Oh, man.
You said think. We don't like thinkers, Chris.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they're coming for you. They're outside your house. um, I'm gonna sit
But,
there and
like, just sci-fi, it's supposed to tell us, like, present us with bad situations so we avoid it,
yeah.
and
But
yeah.
Chris, we all know really good sci-fi is only Star Wars, nothing else. Oh, I didn't even know you were even wearing a Star Wars shirt, so that was perfect point.
Oh, that's what you're referring.
No, that was just a minor mistake. So
Uh,
I'm gonna try to condense mine down a little bit more, uh, due to the time that we have here. So talking point, the difference between the Cohen script and the final product, and how I prefer the screenplay over the movie. I just prefer the noir pulpy vibes. I did not like that in the final film. They gave Anderton this whole like my child was taken and now he's dead, and I was like, really? Do we need a dead kid to motivate our hero? It's like I liked it better when
man, it was
when like
closure.
uh, but for me
That
in the
she's in the house and she's like telling the parents right there, like,
yeah,
what this kid like dreamed of what he wanted his future to be, but he can't do it because he's still 10 years old
that fits for
and he
that
can't do
story's
it
narrative.
anymore.
But for the script, though, to me, I like the script better. Where, for one, I feel because the character's name was Laura. It was Laura Clark, but in this one, it was Lisa. Very much like in the I think no, this was not in the original novella. Laura was the original name of the wife in the novella. But for me, Lisa, this ties in to also Lisa's role, is that really the wife is not in the story quite so much compared to the novella and the script, where I feel like she had more influence. She just wasn't a background character. She definitely helped her husband out, and like when he starts going AWOL because he's being blamed for a crime that mostly these people know he's not going to commit or could never commit. Not out of like and this also goes to that, like, it's the precogs only showed you something out of context, like the death of Whitwer, which springs on that trouble thing between both Anderson and Whitwer, or
Hang on one
Anderton.
sec. Hang on one sec.
Okay.
Sorry, pause 1 second. What are you doing?
We have a dog issue.
Tearing up the damn carpet. You crazy?
Poor Zola. Big
No,
puppy.
it's Teddy. He's
Oh, it's Teddy. Oh.
Ted. Yeah, Ted, little turd.
Oh. All right. So.
Ah. All right. Yeah, sorry about that.
All right.
I could hear
Back.
him like ripping carpet up. I'm like, no.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So yeah, my thing is that it's the whole relationship between Anderson, Whitwer, and Lisa, and I felt like in the script it just gave Lisa a little bit more of an understanding of, instead of doing the dead kid angle, It's more of like, I'm the judge. I'm the one that works with my husband to send these people away. And so now you expect me to send my husband away into this prison, like this mental prison that where they're all going to go in the script. And I don't know, I just felt like it was a little bit more better to just have that and have it that she may be gone for like a big part of the script in between, but most of the time when she shows up and she's like, "You're wanted," it's like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "I didn't do it." And it's like, okay, prove it to me. And there is this proof and everything that, to me, I felt like the wife had a better, she had a better stance and a better, a better part in Anderson's story of, my husband is wanted. I don't know if I could actually put him on trial and have him, be, put to prison. It's like, how would I live with myself? And in all honesty, she ends up working with them that ends up saving him and whatnot. But I don't know. I like that story better. I like the story better where, yeah, he's a good cop and he does good, but he complains to his wife. It's like, like, it's nothing like being a homicide detective. Like, they're even thinking about like pulling the whole plug on the funding to even teach it. They don't even teach homicide anymore. What good is it? And then you have Whitworth's opposite. I was like, well, why do we need the homicide thing when we have the robotic coroner, which I thought was interesting technology, you know, in the screenplay, where it's essentially, it's just like these two, it's just like picking up the little thing for the dead body, but it's this whole thing that it just animates, and it comes with its own little tools and everything, with a holographic coroner that is analyzing the body, and it would let you know if it was a suicide or not. Like in
Yeah.
here, I like that, because every time that Anderson in the script kept mentioning, it's all like, what we're doing isn't real cop work. We're not detectives anymore. And Whitworth's like, yeah, we are. And it's like, no, we're not. We're not doing this anymore. I mean, even this right here, this isn't us doing our work. We're just here to watch the robot do its job. It's like, we're not solving anything. Like, in a sense, he's pointing out our jobs are, useless now. It's like, we have the precogs that took our jobs. The only thing that we're worth of anything is just the manpower to go grab those people before they commit the murder. And I do like the intro for the movie, for how they did it. Like, I kind of wanted that one where it was just the grumpy old husband that's just gonna kill his wife with a pair of scissors, and like the not the kid, yeah, the kid just watches it, and it's like, oh, okay, that's, you know, I like that. But then the movie just had it where, okay, it's just the wife is trying to hurry get her kids sent off to school so she can go have an affair while her husband's at work. I was like, either way, that fit. It fit. It gave me enough of what it was. And my issue with the film thing, it's, I think they just kind of changed a little too much of it and everything. I get tired of seeing, like detective stories where it's like, my kid died. It's like, dude, give me something else. Give me something else. And I kind of expected a little bit better from Spielberg, and I love Spielberg. I don't think this movie's bad. I don't think it's a terrible movie, but like how what was it? My buddy Steven mentioned is like, what was your favorite film between their two collaborations, Minority Report or War of the World? And I was like, War of the World better. I was like, I loved the story. I loved everything a hell of a lot more. You know. Also, too, I just love Cruise's performance in that one. I think that's a better one, and I really want them to do more movies together um, in the future. Like, they can do the same time jump, because I think War of the Worlds was, what, 2008 and everything? And this was 2002, so that was about like a 6-7 year gap, when you're really kind of probably looking to 2001 was when they went into production. It's like, I wouldn't mind every 7 years or so we got like another Spielberg Tom Cruise thing, because I truly do believe he can direct the man and he can get a really good performance. Um, Also, too, I think the
I
screenplay
mean,
did the whole eye scene, like where he's getting his retinols and everything like removed and getting new eyeballs. I thought the script had a better pacing and tenseness compared to what the movie did. Even though those bugs they
uh,
were pretty mean, where they're just shocking him to make him lift the bandage. I was like, oh, fuck that shit. Like,
I mean, I'm gonna have to disagree because like
that's
having
fair.
the child lost at the beginning and that being a central core like driving force for his character, and it jumped the mystery for like, why am I going to murder this guy? And you find out
Yeah.
like the only reason I would ever kill someone is if I found out they took my son. And
Yeah.
just like you felt, I was like on this edge of my seat, like just feel my heart was pounding when like just rewatching it the other day and seeing how like much he wanted to kill this guy, and like how painful it was to not pull that trigger and to just like start reading his Miranda rights.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that is a
I
powerful
do like the
moment,
twist of
and it
that.
drives home.
I do like the twist
Yeah.
of that when it
And
came to that moment where it's like, oh, he finally changed uh the future. It's like, so it is a minority report
yeah,
because and then what it just showed you is that the precogs they can't tell you the full thing because they don't even get the full message. And then he just over here fights them and then does the whole shot thing. And I was like, ah, so
yeah,
that's what she saw. But not even she
yeah.
knows it. She doesn't even know it. You know. So the precogs are learning just as much as we are. Um,
Yeah, but like it also, I feel like if it had been done in the earlier version, the audience wouldn't have been as invested.
yeah,
Because like you're following this guy who just wants to prevent something happening again, like what happened to his son Sean, and
yeah,
he just you want him to succeed, but you're also like, why is this happening to him? And I just feel like this was the best way to go. It
yeah.
was more emotional for the story, and it carried a lot more weight
I I can
than
see.
like his wife, like boning his best friend. Like,
We're gonna move
and
on to your.
Colin Farrell's. Oh, I just want one more thing.
Okay.
Colin Farrell's like the relationship between him, the antagonistic relationship, was spectacular to me, like, because he's, like, wanting to find
He's
holes
a
and poke
prick.
holes in this system. Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
I mean, he's an asshole, but, like, he's wanting to make sure this system is perfect.
yeah,
Because like, he's asking questions we're all asking. Like,
yeah,
like, why is this happening? Why would you arrest someone who, like, hasn't committed the murder yet? And they do
yeah,
the trick with the ball, and he catches it. He's like, "Why'd you catch it? Why? Oh, it was gonna fall." And like,
yeah,
yeah, but it didn't because you caught it. And it opens up different questions,
yeah.
and I think that was the main intent. Like,
Whitwer in the script
we
is
didn't
very
have that.
much. Yeah, Whitwer in the script is very
Yeah,
much like okay with the system. He's more trust the system. Where Whitwer in the movie is, he does question it, and in
yeah,
questioning it, it becomes his own undoing. So
yeah.
there
I
is
mean,
some
he's a
connotations.
good guy.
Yeah,
He's just he brings it to the whole murder in the lake thing to the wrong person.
yeah. Well, I mean, like this is also like 1 year prior to him doing like Bullseye and Daredevil, and I still think he was like probably the best part of that movie was just watching his snarky
Yeah.
comments and him just being a dick, and it's like it's what we love him for. But we're gonna move to your final talking point to get ready to wrap up this episode, Chris, and everything. What is your
Yeah.
final talking point to be?
I wasn't sure if we'd have time, so I just kind of like threw in some stuff. I Have you seen the TV series, the sequel TV series that
I
happened in
have
2015?
I have not, like, I know of it, but I did not know it was a sequel. I thought it was just a
Yeah.
full blown reboot.
No, it takes place after Agatha and the other twins are released. I think it takes place like 10, 15 years later,
Mm-hmm.
and murders are happening again, or are have begun happening, and you follow a detective who partners up with one of the twin precogs
Hmm.
because he can't sit back and watch these murders happen in his dreams. So he goes and tries to prevent them himself, and he partners up with a detective, and it's a really cool little show. If anyone hasn't seen it, I think go check it out. I
Yeah,
think it really is a cool little successor to the series, the
I
film.
I didn't know that that was a sequel. Then otherwise, then I would have checked that one out.
Oh yeah,
I mean, so I think that's the first Philip
and
K.
it's on
Dick project
TV.
then that became a sequel to something. Because nothing else,
Yeah,
nothing else, everything else has been a reboot or something.
yeah.
Huh?
It was happening during that whole little Fox era of like trying to get more
Find the next big
sci-fi
thing.
shows on the
Yeah,
TV network. I think they did like Terra Novas and stuff too, or was that NBC? I don't remember.
I
But
thought Terra
like, it was a cool
Nova was
little,
sci-fi.
yeah. I don't know. I
Not
thought
no,
it
from,
was
on
one
the
of the main
Sci-Fi
network
Channel.
channels.
I thought that was on the Sci-Fi
Yeah,
Channel and everything.
yeah.
Um,
I don't
what?
remember. But
Yeah.
like, it was a cool little era of when they were like picking up projects and they were doing like movie sequel stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They did that Limitless TV series. I think that was
Okay, that
CBS
one
actually. But
that one I do remember. I still prefer the Bradley
yeah.
Cooper movie.
I love the series. I like the main character way better in the TV series. He's way more fun and interesting.
Oh,
And
you get to know him
you got
more compared to like a what was that like a? I don't even think that was a 2-hour film that they did Bradley Cooper in. I think it was a pretty short film
yeah.
and everything.
But
So
like, I didn't like Bradley Cooper's character. I think he's supposed to be made out to be like an unlikable guy because he
yeah,
begins like doing all these things and pushing like for kind of doing illegal stuff or trying to,
yeah.
I guess it's like rising to upper class kind of thing. And I don't know, his character in the TV series also appears as like running for president, and it's clear like he's on the drug and he's still kind of like
Kind of gives me
has
Dead Zone
ulterior
vibes.
motives. Yeah, like he's not he says he's out to like change the world, but like what does that mean? It kind of hints that it's not really good for anybody, but like,
Yeah,
or the, I guess his actions won't justify the means, or the
I yeah.
means won't justify the end goal.
Now I want to see it now because that seems like a really really good series. Chris, I have too much
Yeah.
shit to watch, and this whole month it's been piling up. Now I got Fallout I gotta watch. I got now this to watch. I got so much. Folks, we're gonna wrap up this very very short episode and everything. This is gonna be kind of like the new format for it. I don't know if we're gonna stick with Discord or not, or maybe we'll finally move over to Twitch. We'll sit there and see what the response is to this episode. It seems like I thought we had everything done with experimenting, and no, we're still experimenting. We're trying to find that new cutting edge of engagement and everything with our audience because we love our audience so much. But definitely watch the movie, read the novella, go to Script Labs and read the script and everything. And you guys, give us what do you guys think? Which was better? Do you like the novella? Do you like the screenplay from Jon Cohen of 1997's draft and everything? Do you like the final product of the movie itself and everything? Or do you like all three? It's okay. You can like all three. But with that being said, next month we're going to cover Jurassic Park. That was Spielberg, right? Yeah, that was another Spielberg project. We're covering back to back Spielberg. I did not realize that. We're going to be covering that for the month of June. Right? Yeah, June. And you can find our channel on YouTube as always, and we're on Instagram, Cinema Alley. Chris, where can the fine folks listening here find you?
My social is the Zealous Slacker on Instagram and Zealous Slacker.
That's all underscore in between the
Yep.
Zealous Slacker. Yes. And also, too, folks, you can find me as the Gothic Storyteller on pretty much almost every platform except for X and everything. With that being said, folks, and everything, thank you guys again so much for watching. This has definitely been a brand new experience, and we will catch you all later.